Awesome. Okay, we are under record. All right, so everyone, welcome to our Thursday night leadership team call. Guys, these have been a lot of fun. We've had phenomenal feedback from these calls. Our groups are all moving in the right direction. We had a meeting last night in Ohio, or Tuesday night in Ohio, that had over 80 people. We started it in March, probably last March, having meetings, bigger meetings up there. And guys, things are happening. I was just saying a little bit ago, Lisa and I are packing. We're going to Dallas and then to Waco. I'm just going to say this before I introduce my guests, and then I want you guys to make sure you stay to the end, because I'm going to teach like I always do. I'm going to teach on the end about the proper way to do a three-way phone call. We miss a lot of things by doing the three-way phone call wrong, and a lot of us don't do the three-way phone call at all. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that at the end. But I want to say one thing before, like I said, before I introduce my guest. You guys need to make sure that if you're not registered for LifeVantage Academy, I think that the registration goes off tonight at midnight. So I can tell you this, and I'm not going to say this to brag. I'm saying this to let you guys know how committed I am to this business, how committed I am to following the system, and how committed I am to you guys. Okay? Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, it goes off to 11:30, Chris. Okay, so you have till 11:30 p.m. to register, okay, for LifeVantage Academy. If you haven't done that, you need to do that. And I'm just going to tell you guys, Lisa and I were blessed by one of our business partners to be able to go to the Ohio State and Oklahoma game on the road in Oklahoma. Go Buckeyes! And IO. And we're going to fly into Dallas tomorrow, do some meetings in Dallas with some of our team in that area, and then we're going to drive to Waco, Texas, about 2 hours away, spend the night, and keep that consistency of never missing an event since we've been involved. Okay, so it's tough on us because the game is a nighttime game. We're going to leave about noon of LifeVantage Academy and drive back to Norman and go to the game on Saturday night. Then we're doing some meetings on Sunday. We have church and then 2 meetings on Sunday, and then we're coming back on Monday. But I just want to encourage you guys, 3 to 4 hours is nothing. A lot of people are traveling 3 to 4 hours this Saturday to be a part of these first LifeVantage Academies, and we don't have many of them. So, but without further ado, I'm not going to harp on you guys that much about that, but it's very important for your business that you guys take advantage of this. We are so early, guys, so early that there's some states that don't have LifeVantage Academy yet. Michael's shaking his head. We know we don't have them in Kentucky yet. There's just certain areas that we don't have them because we're so early in this. And we're pioneering this. You know, it's funny. Brandon said this the other day. I think he said it to Jason and to Jeff. He said, Protandem, even though it's the greatest product in the history of our industry and the history of nutrition, it's the worst product to have in network marketing because you tell every other company that most of their products are not needed. So you're always going to have that pushback. And so we're still in that education process of educating people on Nerf 1 and Nerf 2. My professors at my school, a lot of you don't know this, told me it would take 7 to 10 years for people to understand this technology. And then we had to go and throw Nerf 1 in. So, okay, without further ado, Renee, I see your mic is still muted. Are you unmuting now? Let me see if I can unmute you. I don't know what happened. You got muted somehow. Let me see where you are.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I can hear you. All right. So, guys, I want to introduce my guest before I teach a little bit. I want to say Renee is like my sister. We have been friends for a while now. Her and her mom, Paulette spoke a couple weeks ago. They live in Ottawa, Ohio, which it's not Canada, it's Ohio. And Renee is 39. She's got 3 kids. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I want her to tell her story. Her and her husband, Jared, He's an electrician. She's been a school counselor for 16 years. She told me here she loves the Lord and believes that this opportunity and these products are an answer to her prayer. So I'm going to let her tell her story. I may surprise her and ask a question or two, but I remember a year ago sitting in her mom's living room. Her and her mom were pro threes in this business. And they just said, hey, will you help us? We got no upline. Will you help us? And now a year later, her and her mom are pro five. They just wanted to tie into our system and what we were doing. They were looking for help. And you guys know the best thing about this opportunity is that we all are in this together. We all get to help each other. And that's what I like about LifeVantage over anything I've ever been a part of in my life. So my good friend and business partner, professional network marketer, Renee Miller, take it away, my friend. Have fun.
All right. Well, thank you, first of all, for giving me this opportunity to share my story. Just so you all know, I started in my car so that it would be quiet, so my 3 kids would not be talking in the background. And I had bad connection, so I'm in the garage, actually my parents' garage, because we're living with my parents right now, which is another story. So if it looks weird in here, I'm in a garage standing here, so it's quiet. Anyhow, so yeah, I heard about Protandim. It's probably been 3.5, not quite 3.5 years ago. And my mom, who some of you on this line have met and you know her very well, she was really, really sick. We did not think she was going to make it, and she just kept getting worse and worse. And we were praying for her. One of my best friends and I, that was in a Bible study group with me, we were praying and praying, and all of a sudden she calls me out of the blue and she says, Renee, you have got to see what I just heard about. I've been studying and researching some really awesome information. I really think this could be an answered prayer for your mom. So I said, okay, well, what is it? Get over here and show me. And she did. She came right over, and I was just really blown away by what I saw on Protandim. All the scientific proof, all the evidence was there. So I went to my mom and I said, you have got to start trying this. What else do you have? You need to start taking this and see what happens. And she told me no. And I think if you heard her give her story a couple weeks ago, you heard her say that. She said no, and she said no for a little while. But I felt so strong that this wasn't, this was from the Lord, that I just kept pushing and pushing her. And so anyway, eventually she ended up listening. She started taking it, and she, within a few weeks, started to really come around. Unfortunately, we had a lot of sick people in our family at that time. And my brother, who's just 3 years older than me, he was diagnosed with colon cancer before we even knew about Protandim. And right as I was learning and finding out about it, he was re-diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. And felt like, this was just, the timing couldn't have been better for him. So he made the decision to go ahead and take this through his chemo, and he's still taking it to this day, and he's doing really well. And those are just two of the stories in our family that just really is what lights my fire to not stop no matter what, because I have seen firsthand what it's done for my family, for my brother's kids, for his wife, for my mom's sister. And it could really stay on this line all night and tell you story after story of all the lives we've seen changed. And financially, it's starting to really be a blessing for us too. The lady that shared this with me is a financial advisor, and somebody I really trust. And she was really excited, not only about the health benefits, but she was super excited about the financial opportunity. And at that time, I thought she didn't need the money. So she's telling me this was a heck of a financial opportunity. And I thought, what financial planner is going to get involved with network marketing? Because most of them that we find out about, the opportunity has gone and passed. So anyhow, that was very exciting to me. And my parents have owned a restaurant as long as I can remember. And they work and work and work. My dad works all the time. And if he does not go to work, the things will fall apart there eventually. So this has been a very awesome backup plan for not only me, but my mom. Anything else you want me to share, Michael?
I'm sorry, I had myself muted. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey guys, I turned most of you guys are all on. I just turned everybody's cameras off just so it wasn't distracting when I recorded. So if I didn't and you can turn yours off, just kind of click it off in the bottom left-hand corner down there. No, Renee, tell me, this was something I didn't know and your mom said. Tell me, was I correct that your mom said that her LifeVantage check was bigger than her retirement from the school board or from the school where she used to work at? Can you touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate with her because I, like you said, I've been in education for 16 years, and we'll have in-services for teachers on state retirement teachers plans. And it's about a joke. You think, what? You're going to work until you're 65, 70 years old, and you're going to get a lot less back in retirement than what you're previously making. So my mom was super pumped because she is also a retired guidance counselor, and her check in LifeVantage is starting to surpass what she's bringing in every month from her retirement from teaching.
Awesome. Awesome. And the one real cool thing about what's happened there with Renee and her mom is they live in a very, very small town. What's the population, Renee, of where you live at?
I think it's probably pretty close to about 6,000.
6,000 people. Okay. And I just laugh because how many distributors do y'all have there probably in your area, in your surrounding area, would you say?
I would say, I don't know, probably between 30 and 40.
Okay, so between 30 and 40. And then we go to Columbus, Ohio, that has the population of 2.5 million people in the central Ohio and surrounding area, and they have 20 active distributors. So the reason I wanted to point that out to you, it's very significant for people to know that the LifeVantage compensation plan is completely blind. It doesn't matter if you live in a town of 6,000 or you live in a town of 60,000 or 600,000. It's a business that everybody can do, from the 20-year-old to the 80-year-old. I know there's some people, some seniors that are in Renee's group that are just go-getters. They're just constantly sharing. And so, Renee, thank you so much for sharing a little bit. Can you do me a favor before you go? Just kind of touch base what's happened with you in the last month or 2 or 3 months, and what's kept you going, and what you're excited about the future of LifeVantage before you go. Finish with that.
Okay, sure. So this summer, right before we went to Anaheim, I think this is what you're referring to.
Yeah. How soon before Anaheim did that happen?
It happened on June 14th.
Listen to this, everybody.
I don't know when we went to Anaheim. I'm not going to lie. It's all a blur.
It was 2 weeks after your fire. So go ahead. Talk about it a little bit.
So the weirdest thing happened. My husband's getting ready to take one of our boys to baseball, and he comes to my room. He's like, "Hey, do you smell that?" I said, "No." And our little guy is like, "I smell it, Mom." And I said, "What's going on?" So he starts running towards our laundry room, and here our dryer, the belt in our dryer, like busted into flames. And before you know it, all these fire trucks are at our house. And this is why we're still living with my parents. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm in the garage because I have proof right behind me. I'll show you all of our crap is in here. It's like filled to the brim.
I love it.
Our stuff.
I've been in that garage many times.
Yeah, it looks a little different. It's loaded. There's a clothes rack in here. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, what happened was, before we know it, every single thing is taken out of our house. This wonderful company came, they took care of everything, but they boxed everything up out of our house because it all needs clean, paperwork, everything. So we just got a lot of our things back a few weeks ago, and somebody's sending me a message. I don't know who it is, and it's distracting me, but I love it. They said I'm rocking it. Thank
That's okay.
you. I appreciate that.
Tell me, finish with this. Tell me what you did, what you had to do, and then 2 weeks later, I think if I remember it, you went and had to borrow some clothes from like I don't know, did you go to a thrift store or something? I can't remember. Tell me about that. And then you went to
Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of a scary financial situation at first. We didn't know how insurance was going to play out and everything, and it ended up everything turned out fine. But it wasn't like I was just going to go buy a whole new wardrobe with not knowing what was going to happen. So, yeah, and just to take care of 3 kids and their events that they were in, and they were kind of traumatized from it all. But you know what? Going to Anaheim, and yes, I bought clothes out of a garage sale. And my girlfriend Sarah,
I made fun of you a little bit, I think.
Yeah, my girlfriend distributor, Sarah Nichols, who a lot of you know, she was so sweet. She brought me all this jewelry because I love accessories. She like had my back at convention. We were together. She's like, "Oh, I brought this for you and this for you. You're still gonna be, you're gonna be working it, girl. We're gonna be looking good together." So yeah, I wore the same dress. I don't know how many times over and over and over, but it was such a good thing that I went, because I think a little depression was starting to set in. Like, we're out of our house, not knowing what's going to happen. And oh my gosh, just being so lifted there. It was just so therapeutic just to be there for just, my emotional aspect too.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you could have made every excuse in the world not to go. You and I had that little bit of a conversation that during those 2 weeks in that time period. And I told her, I said, I respect whatever you do. But I believe, and I believe you believe this too, whenever there's a will, there's a way. And when God opens doors that no one can open and closes that no one closes, and that door was open for you. And you know what, I just want to commend you and let you know before you go, and then I'm going to teach just a little bit, but I value you as a person, as a mom. I value you as a business partner, and I'm really honored to call you my friend. And I'm super excited about the future of what's happening in all of Ohio, in Ottawa and Toledo areas. And thank you for your leadership, and thank you for everything that you do for my group. Even though you're not in my group, I feel like you are. And I just want to thank you and your mom for just being my friend. And every time I come, you guys make me feel like I'm part of your family. So thanks for being on tonight.
Yes, and thank you for everything you do for us. We appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks. Okay, guys, I'm going to teach just a little bit. Thank you, Renee. Let's get into this here just a little bit. Okay, so the reason I'm going to teach on this tonight, and hopefully, Renee, can you give me, I know you just remuted, but can you see the slides okay? Are they okay on the screen?
Yes, they're good.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay.
Look good.
Okay, good. Okay, so I put a couple of these on here just because I really like these slides. It says, I found these today. True leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. Leaders don't force people to follow. They invite them on a journey. I'm sure even Renee, we talk about this all the time. This is a journey. We are on a journey to what I think is change part of history. So I made 2 slides of these, but it looks like I forgot to take the last part off. So I'm going to kind of just do that real quick here. So, okay. So hopefully I'm still okay. Renee, can you still see everything okay? Is everything cool?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So what I want to talk about real quick, just 10 minutes, I want to share with you guys the importance of the 3-way phone call, okay? We have a lot of problems with this, and this is a key success to you having success with your business. So if you're taking notes, you go back and listen to the recording. Let's talk a little bit about this. So a lot of you guys know that you can look here on the part of the phone how you do a 3-way phone call. If you don't know how to do a 3-way phone call, get with your upline, get with somebody who does them on a regular basis, okay? So you can see you have an expert, you have you, and you have your prospect. So, for instance, I just see Linda and Renee on the screen here in front of me, so I'm going to use them. So Linda is my prospect. Renee is my expert, okay? The first thing I'm going to do when I call Renee, who's the expert, is I'm going to edify my prospect first, which is Linda. And what this does is this lets your prospect know that this is 100% about them, not about trying to sell them a product, not about trying to coerce them into anything. We want them to feel that we are there to educate them about our products and our opportunity, okay? Let your validator know what questions to ask them and where to take the conversation. This is very key. If you can call your expert ahead of time and get more information on your prospect, it will allow your expert, your validator, to have a better idea of where to take the phone call. Okay, so if in this case, I'm going to call Renee ahead of time, and I'm going to tell Renee about Linda. Linda's a massage therapist. Her and her husband Tony live in the Toledo area. She's just an amazing woman of God. And the reason I would even use Renee and Linda is because they've actually now later on, have met each other, and I just think that they would connect really well together. And very soft-spoken, very genuine people. And so the second thing that you're going to do on your three-way phone call is you're going to edify your validator. If at all possible, find someone you think your prospect might relate to, okay? Very important to meet as many people that your upline feels is valuable to use for three-way phone calls. Now, you're not just going to use anybody for a three-way phone call. You want to find somebody who feels comfortable with doing three-way phone calls. How do you become that person that's able to be a validator or an expert? You follow the system, and whenever you're using someone as an expert, you listen and you take notes. And then the more you do them, eventually when you start signing people up, you're going to have to learn to be the expert. That's why this system works, okay? And I put a couple examples here. Teacher with a teacher, single mom with a single mom, business owner with a business owner, female to female, salesperson to salesperson, male to male, pastor to pastor, doctor to doctor. Those are the reasons why we come on these type of calls, so that we can network and get to know people, okay? If you don't know people, go to your upline and tell them, I need a list of people to do three-way phone calls. And then here's the next thing that's on you. You have to call the people and introduce yourself. Say, my name is Renee Miller. I'm a Pro 5. My QE gave your number. Now look, I'm just going to tell you this. I like to do that with my enrollments. I will call and introduce them to at least 8 to 10 people that I feel they can use to benefit from using for three-way phone calls. I have a list of people that only I get their permission from to give out their phone number for third-party calls. And I will make my team member call that person and say, hi, this is Mike Hinkey. I was given your phone number by my sister or my upline, Mike Huey. I'm here in Kentucky. I have somebody that I need to use for a three-way phone call. And I think that you would be good for that. So the third part of this call, these last two are the most important two things that you will do on a three-way phone call. After you have validated and edified both the expert and your prospect, you mute your phone. You don't interrupt. You never say anything, okay? It's very important to your business that you don't interrupt the person doing the call. at all, ever. And listen, this is very important. The goal of the third party is to get your prospect to the next step. Some people think it's to get them to sign up. That's not what this is about. It's usually the E of the CTE. And if you've been tied into these calls, you should know part of the CTE. And the last, that's what a third party is, to get them to the event, okay? Whether that's more information and a follow-up, a webinar, a home meeting, LifeVantage Academy. And what you can also do is, and now this is very important, you can discuss this with the expert before the call. Let them know if it's somebody in Ohio, you can let them know, hey, there's a meeting here or here. Would either one of these be good for you? If you can give the expert some options for your prospect before the call, it makes the call go very simple for the expert, because the expert has a plan of action to get that person to the next step. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I'll unmute here in a minute, and if you guys have questions, I'll answer the questions. And here's another important step. Step number 4. Don't ruin the three-way. Okay? It may seem funny, it may seem stern, but 2 to 3 minutes on the phone after the validator is finished to confirm the next follow-up in 42 to 78 hours max. You can ruin a third-party call by staying on the phone, okay? So what I want you to do is remember, soon as you have gotten the call back, what you're going to do is you're going to confirm them coming to a meeting. If it's them needing more information, you're going to get them the information, and you're going to say, okay, when can I follow up with you? Okay. Let's say it's Thursday. Say, how about Saturday morning at 10? Can I call you Saturday morning at 10, see where you are, see if the information was valuable, to get you to where we need to get you? Because what I like to do when I'm the third party, I like to ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, what's their interest level in the opportunity? And it's usually between a 7 and a 10. Okay. And what I do is I teach my person that's the person that's using me for the third party. I teach them that in this 2 to 3 minutes to make sure that they are not on the phone long. They don't answer any more questions. They give them the information that they need, set the follow-up, and get off the phone. That's the most important thing that you will find with things. So remember, 4 things. Edify your prospect, edify the validator, mute your phone, and don't ruin the 3-way phone call. Okay? So if I'm just going to take just this last 2 minutes. If anybody wants to unmute their line, you can do it down at the bottom of the screen, and you can ask questions if you'd like. I know that I stopped everybody's cameras, but if you want to unmute and ask a question, I'll take 2 minutes and answer any questions that anybody might have. Anybody have a question?
Hey, Mike, this is Janice.
Hey, Janice, go ahead.
I have got to emphasize, you know more than anybody else on this call how many times Glenn and I screwed up.
Go ahead and talk about it. I'll take it away.
And how many times you were here at the house and you would be doing that cut the throat sign because Glenn and I were talking too much. And I'm sad to say that it's taken us this many months to really understand how critical it is to not invalidate your validator. And the hardest thing that we have that happens is we get somebody who's excited as a result of the wonderful job our third party does, and our third party hangs up, and we're so excited we start vomiting. And before we know it, we've lost a customer, we've lost a potential distributor, and we're like, what happened? They were so excited. Well, what happened was we didn't shut up and follow the system.
Yep.
So I just want to really, really emphasize for everybody on the line that there's an absolutely very, very valid reason why you're using a third-party validator, and that is to keep us from being salespeople.
Totally.
And as soon as you enter into that vomiting all over them of your excitement and, oh, there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and pretty soon they're overwhelmed, and they're going, crap, I can't do this. And they hang up. I mean, they're done.
Yeah.
So please, learn from our experience of blowing it, that it works so well if you will follow the system. We're trying so hard to teach our team to not make the mistakes that we made, because we want to see them have success 100 times faster than we did. So, guys, Mike is speaking truth, and we know from experience, and just do it the right way. Thank you, Mike.
No, Janice, that's great. And I want to comment on this, and I will only do this with the permission of the validator. And I've said this to Janice and Glenn before. I've said, do you mind if after I turn the call back over to you that I mute my phone and stay on the phone to see what you do after the call is over? And if you're wanting to learn, Janice can tell you that that's a very key point of learning how to get off the phone. Would you agree with me on that, Janice? That's real important.
Totally. And here's the thing. If we don't leave our egos at the door, you are going to be stuck at the bottom of rank advancement, because you've got to be humble, and you've got to be willing to learn and accept the fact that there are people who know better than you do. So we've got to drop our egos, become eager, humble students, and listen to those who are ahead of us in this game.
Absolutely, guys. And that's coming from a Pro 4 that's never done this business before. So, guys, look, I've always said this from the beginning, is that the only way you won't be successful at this business is if you don't follow the system and you quit. And that's the two ways that you eventually don't become successful. And I believe that because of what we have with this opportunity, that to me, quitting was never an option for me. Have I had ups and downs? Absolutely. This is a personal development business. I don't know how you can listen to a story like Renee's and not want to go out and tell everybody about this. So let me encourage you, okay? We have a ton of incentives this month about getting to Pro 3, okay? I have thrown an incentive out for my team for people that can make Pro 3 2 months in a row, which if you make it this month and next month, I'm going to give you an extra $100. The company is giving you $250 this month extra if you make it this month. So you could literally get an extra $350. And a lot of you are very close and capable of doing that. So you have 15 days to do that. Guys, work every day like it's the end of the month. I'm just going to say this to you. I remember when Brandon told me that on the last 2 days of the month, when he was going to hit Pro 10, they put in $100,000 in volume. Okay? Now, that's a Pro 10, but let me just tell you, if you are actively sharing this information with people and following up with people, remember, it takes 5 touches for people to figure this out most of the time. So don't be discouraged. Don't worry about the no's. And let's just go change some lives. You guys are not in the sales business. We are not. And I did a call with Wendy today with the lady, Becky, that just, she didn't, I don't think she knew really much about the network marketing industry. And if you guys remember, I told you there's 3 things that you have to do to be successful at this business. You have to believe in our products. Let's just get that out of the road. There's no other company in the history of this industry that has the products that we have. No matter what anybody says, and you can prove it. Just take them to PubMed. Just take them to the National Institute of Aging. Take them to the Anti-Cancer Foundation. There's things that nobody else has that we have. Number 2, you have to believe in network marketing, okay? And number 3, okay, number 3 is people have to believe in you. And then I always say this. I taught this today. If you guys haven't had a chance to listen to my Facebook Live, go listen to it and comment. I even got my pastor and some other people were on today and made some comments. So I'm grateful that you guys have taken some time out. I went over about 5 or 6 minutes. I just wanted to thank you guys again for being on Thursday night. Lisa,
Hey,
go ahead.
I actually have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You had said don't answer questions at the end of the call. What do you do to deflect questions if somebody has a question?
I usually allow the third party person to answer all of the questions. And if I'm the third party, I ask them at the end, have I answered all of your questions?
Okay.
Okay. And that can solve that. And then I'll say, here's what we do next. The validator should always end. Here's what we do next. We're going to, your person that's that's invited you to this is going to take you to get you the more information that you need. And then she's going to follow up with you. And I ask them, I say, is that a good plan for you? And they will 99% of the time say, absolutely. And then we put it back onto you guys to make sure that you're doing the follow-up that needs to.
Got it.
Awesome.
So you avoid the question by having your expert ask if there's questions.
Absolutely. Always. I want to make
Roger
sure
that.
that I've got them so that the person that's invited is not the message. They're just the messenger. I want to be the message.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that? I didn't see who that was.
Oh, this is Paula Ashley.
Hey, Paula.
I'm Linda's.
I'm glad. Welcome to the team.
Thanks a lot.
I'm excited to work with you.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
I got a question, Mike.
Hi, Mike. This is Rom. I have a question.
Who was first? George. I think George was first. Ron, then you can go. Go ahead, George.
Mike, I'm completely confident that if we don't get in the way of the three-way call, you guys are going to do the right thing. What I'm concerned about is doing the wrong thing with the initial contact and the sharing of a video or whatever tool that you want to just introduce them, and then of course get them on a three-way call. How do I control that? I be sure that what do you say to make sure that
it's done right? Make sure you just want to know that it's done right. So the easiest way to do that is you have to be in control of when the person looks at the information, and you already have to have and guys, that's why I tell you, if you go to LifeVantage Academy, you will learn this. It is taught there. It is taught in detail there. That you have to be in control. So here's what I'm going to say. I'll leave this with you, George. You always have to make sure that you know when they're going to watch it and who you're going to use to validate. So that's why you always get the person's information and you say, when are you available for when do you have 30 minutes today or tomorrow? And you have to be in control of that. So if you just give the person the information, it never goes well. And then you're always chasing the person or they don't call you back. So
that's what I did tonight. That's what I did tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. So Ram, go ahead. What was your question? Thanks, George. Ram, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You mentioned about CTE, like the purpose of the three-way call is to get the prospect to the next event. Right. Who makes that invitation? The validator or the distributor?
Well, you talk about that with your validator beforehand. Let's say it's somebody in the Philippines and we're having an event in the Philippines. Okay. Mm-hmm. Obviously, our goal is to get, if it's you and your prospects in the Philippines, the goal is to get that to the next person. Let's say it's Chris. Chris has a guy in Toledo, and we're having meetings in Toledo's on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And I will ask him, hey, what's best for you? To watch a recorded webinar, to go to a meeting on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Saturday? what best fits your schedule so that we can get you the information that you need to get to make the best decision for you. And then they'll tell me, and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to turn this back over to Rom. He's going to set you up with the information you need. He's going to set you up with the time for you guys to follow up. And that way you can make the best decision that's best for you. Is that okay? And they always say, and then I turn it back over to you. You spend 2 to 3 minutes setting that up and then validating in your schedule when the follow-up is. Does that make sense?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, anybody else real quick? Been on a little bit over. I went 10 minutes over. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to unmute you all so I can say goodnight. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week.
I said, so
you guys, thanks for being on again. I love you all. God bless you all. Have a great
Michael.
Thanks,
Mike.
Thanks, Michael.
Bye, Tammy.
At what that
Adios.
God bless you all.